Hey guys, what's going on? It's Target here, coming at you with another episode of Be a GM, Carolina Hurricanes. It's our first episode back since our marathon day that we had last week. I hope you guys enjoyed the marathon day as much as I enjoyed recording it. I had a lot of fun. The only downside was that I really couldn't, get any input from you guys during that time frame. I was recording so quickly as one right after the other. So your input really wasn't taken into account at the time. But I've definitely had a chance now to go over a lot of suggestions for trades, signings, line combinations, things like that. And there's a few things that we'll talk about in this episode that'll hopefully help you guys out. But before we go in to this, there's something I'd like to cover. Okay, so this is our third series of Be a GM. So we took Anaheim the first time, Edmonton the second time, and Carolina the third time. Which is we're doing pretty good, 3 so far, but obviously there's going to be a fourth. Now, it is a little early for a fourth one, but what I'm going to do is we're actually going to start a vote. Now, before how I did it was that I'd randomize 3 times and you guys would vote on one of those 3. This time it's going to be a little bit different, kind of celebrating the new cover vote that EA Sports released. We're going to do it in very similar fashion, okay? So what we're going to do is you're going to go to this form. The link is at the bottom here. You'll see it on the screen, and it'll also be in the description as well. This link will bring you to a survey that's similar to the Subscriber Shootout Challenge survey. However, in this one, what you're going to do is you're going to select one team from each of the NHL divisions that you would like to see me use in Be a GM. All right, you submit that form. The deadline for submitting your forms is May 7th at midnight. So between May 6th to May 7th, at that midnight point, that's the deadline for any submissions. The system will let you submit them still, but they won't count after that point in time, just so you guys know. So, once that round of voting is done, we will narrow it down and we'll go the winners of each 3 divisions on each side. Each conference will compete against each other. So, on the west side, the Central, Northwest, and Pacific, those 3 will go against each other to see who's the finalist in the Western Conference. You get my drift? And then the other side will be Atlantic, Northeast, and Southeast going against each other. And then the winner of that one, the winner of those 3, will play in the final. Right? So, and then we'll come down to a one-on-one vote, and I think we might actually do that one on YouTube. So for the first 2 votes at least, it'll be through this website. Like I said, it's down below. It's operated by SurveyMonkey, so it's exactly the same system as the Subscriber Shootout Challenge. So for those of you that have filled out the form, you're familiar with it. It's really simple, really straightforward. Choose a team from each division that you would like to see me use in Be a GM. Okay, so now let's get back to the current episode of Be a GM. Now, a lot of people are suggesting, they obviously heard my frustrations with Cam Ward, right? And the fact that his value is so low now, and he dropped 2 overall points from an elite goalie to a starter. And obviously I'm not very happy about that. So let's go, and everybody wants to see me move Cam Ward for Carey Price. And I'm totally with that, because honestly, Carey Price is probably the best goalie in the game. I would say so. He's still got he's 5.5 or 4.5 star potential, and it's yellow, so it means he's still getting better. They're gold stars. They're not white stars yet, like a lot of the elite goalies. I'll show you. See, he's 4.5 gold stars. So probably at the end of this season, he will reach his potential, and that will be it. But a 90 overall goalie or a 91 overall goalie is pretty good. Okay? So Carey Price. And obviously we'd be wheeling and dealing Cam Ward. Where are you, Cam? Oops. Goalies. There you go. Cam Ward. All right, so let's take a look at the trade value first off. Obviously, Cam Ward is maybe half of Carey Price's value, right? Not quite there. Not to mention they don't want Cam Ward and they don't want to give up Carey Price. All right, so now we would need to sweeten the pot. So one of the suggestions that somebody had for this trade was Martin Hanzal. And the reason being, and I totally agree with you guys on this one, is that Hansel's contract is way too high for the position that he's playing. They said you can get somebody a little bit better than that. Now, they want Hanzal, but his salary cap will put them over. They'll put him into a deficit. They can't take that much salary on, so we can't do a trade with Montreal for Carey Price and Martin Hanzal. We will dump Martin Hanzal. Not to mention the value. Somebody said Carey Price and a third for Cam Ward and Martin Hansel. I'm sorry, but the 3rd round pick, that's like 1/3 of Hansel's value, and Hansel is like 1/18 of Cam Ward or Carey Price's value, so that won't work. So we're taking Hansel off. Give me a sec. I gotta get a drink here, guys. Okay, so where we do need to look, though, is potentially sending some players that we're not going to use, players that they'd like over. Now, we do have 3 goalies that they do want. We have, was it Cam Honey? Curtis Honey, sorry. We got Curtis Honey. We've got, stupid thing, Tristan Jerry and Polivka. I don't remember his first name. That's fine. Now, Jerry, or Honey and Polivka are the same overall. They're at 54 overall, and Jerry is a 51. They're both the same potential goalies, so they're both 3.5-star goalies. So they'd be probably backups in the NHL, but nothing more. So I'd like to send Curtis Honey their way. I like Tristan Jerry, and I think we already have Polivka, so we wouldn't even need to hold on to him. Okay, so this doesn't affect the trade value at all, right? Or not the trade value, the salary cap at all. You know, they still got $978. So we could throw another player in there that's a low salary cap, like under 500, like maybe 525,000, but has a decent trade value. Okay, so now a player that has a really good trade value that help bump this up a little bit would be Nikita Zadorov. But I really like Nikita Zadorov. He probably won't be playing for us. I just like to have him in the system because he does have solid, offensive stats for a defensive defenseman, and his value is only going to go up. Not to mention he is a higher valued player anyway. So another player that we might look at is, let's see here, Keegan Lowe, perhaps. Keegan Lowe is a player we could look at here. 64 overall, he's 3.5 stars. Yeah, he's higher rated than Zadorov right now, but his value isn't as high, and that's fine with me. Who else do we have? Geertsen is a defenseman. I like to send a variety. I find when you don't send a variety of players, they don't accept it. So I'm going to throw Keegan Lowe on there, okay? So Cam Ward, Curtis Honey, and Keegan Lowe, okay? And we still got room for another $525,000 player. And I think we could do that. We can afford that. So let's go down the list here. We got a defenseman on there. So let's go find maybe a forward. Now, they want Hansel, but we know he's too expensive. And I don't want to get rid of Tommy Jokinen, even though his value is way too low. So how about Welsh? We played him last year, but he's dropped, and he's a depth forward. He isn't even NHL ready anymore. I don't know how that's possible for a young player who actually did not too bad. 23 points in 82 games. He was only 78 overall. In your first NHL season, that's pretty good. But, hey, if he doesn't fit, he doesn't fit. So let's throw Welsh on there. Okay, so the cap is still okay. They're at 407 right now under. But that's because these players would be going to their NHL squad as opposed to from, the minors or something like that. Okay, so now we've got Cam Ward, who covers about half, roughly. We got Honey, Lowe, and Welsh, who cover, definitely not half, but we're getting close. Okay, now you also have to keep in mind they don't want Cam Ward, they don't want Keegan Lowe, they don't want Jeremy Welsh, and they don't want to get rid of Carey Price. So what we might need to tack on here, guys, to make this go through is a first from 2019. That's the one I wanted. The first from 2019. Now, you might be saying, that's overextending, Target. You can't give that much away for Carey Price. Okay, but you're trading a 30-year-old Cam Ward for a 26-year-old Carey Price, and you're getting rid of a goalie you're never going to use, a defenseman you probably won't see, and a forward who really disappointed. I say that's a fair trade. And a pick that you're never going to use, right? Because we're done before this. And that might be cheating, but whatever. The pick's there, and you know what? We got screwed with Cam Ward. He had a decent year. We went to the 3rd round of the playoffs, and he ended up dropping from an 88 to an 86. Something's wrong with this picture. So I think that this is a fair trade, and I'd be happy if they accept it. The only problem is the Montreal Canadiens are sticklers in this game, and I really have a hard time dealing with them, especially when it comes time to deal a player that they don't want to get rid of. They're really hard to trade for. And it's compounded by the fact that we're trying to trade for an elite goalie. These elite goalies are hard to come by, guys. There's not so many of them in the game, and there's not many rated 90 and above. There's only like 5, right? You got Henrik Lundqvist rated 91. The best rated is Ryan Miller at 92. Carey Price is 90. I think Jonathan Quick is 90 as well. And I think that's about it. Maybe it's just 4. There might be another one. I know Pecorine and Roberto Luongo are both rated 89. They're up there. They're elite goalies, but they're not much better than Cam Ward was last year. So I think Carey Price is a big push for us. He's a young guy, 26 years old, like I said, 4.5 gold stars, so he's still getting better. He could get to a 91, maybe a 92 even. So I think Carey Price is a good pickup, and I think this is a good trade, getting rid of all these guys we don't want to use / wouldn't use for a goaltender of the future. Let's see if this goes through. And it does. I'm happy to accept this proposal on behalf of the Montreal Canadiens, and we consider it a done deal. There you go, boys. I just showed you that you can get rid of, you can pick up Cam Ward or Carey Price at a good value for us in terms of what we're getting back, a goaltender that'll bring us through the last 3 seasons of this BGM. I'm happy with that trade. The next thing I want to do, though, I want to look at our contracts. Pardon me. It's early in the morning. Got a sore throat. Okay. I want to look at where we have where we need some coverage. Okay, so we've got Eric Stahl as our first line center. Now I know one of the other things people said was you need to dump some of that. You need to dump a Stahl brother because of their value. Now, or because of their cap hit. Eric Stahl is currently making more money than I think Daniel and Henrik Sedin, right? At 87 overall, that's really not your value. And I agree with you guys. That's totally correct. He is not up to par. You know, like, he's a second-line center at best. His face-offs aren't great. But he was all part of our Stahl collection. Now, in terms of value, I got to look at him again. Let's see here. Yeah, he hasn't put up many points for us. That first season, he put up, or 12-13. He only put up 54 points in 82 games. And then the second season put up 66 points in 82 games. Now, you can kind of attribute, that is an increase by 12 points. And I do think he's going to see an even more increase because he's got Jeff Skinner on his left. And he's got Nail Yakupov on his right. Yakupov was an 82 last year. He's now an 86. So, guys, I think that we're going to keep Eric Stahl for now because he's locked down. He's a sure thing. I also definitely keeping Jordan Stahl. I would keep Jordan Stahl over Eric Stahl for this reason. He's a two-way forward. And look at his point totals. He put up the same number of points as Eric Stahl playing the second line. And he put up like 10 more points than he did the season before that. Jordan Stahl is a better player in this game for some reason. And he's still getting better. He's still a 4-star potential. And they're gold. So he's good. Now, Mark Oliver plays our second line right now. He is okay. I like Mark Oliver there. We'll keep him there for now. Because of his shot. Look at his slap shot power. 98 and 89 accuracy. And then wrist shot accuracy is 91. Wrist shot power is 93. Yeah, I know he's more of a third line player. They have him billed at second line. That's only because he's a playmaker or a sniper. Playmaker snipers are always rated a little bit higher. Alright, next is Martin Hansel. Now, we looked at Hansel and we said we got to get rid of Hansel. So, we're going to be dumping his contract somewhere. Somewhere we get a little bit more value. Somebody a little bit cheaper. So he won't be in the picture. So Oliver's playing the second line wing with Jordan Stahl. We also have Dalpy at depth. And I don't know if I'm saying his name right. Nobody's really corrected me. And he won't be playing in the NHL this year. He's going to need another year. Jay McClement, however, though, will be playing our fourth line center. 85 faceoffs, 86 discipline, decent body checking. Pretty good defensive stats, you know, with 86 stick checking, shot block. You know, he's a good defensive player, and he's a good fourth line player. I mean, look at his plus minus even. He's +5, +4. That's pretty good for a fourth line player. If you're getting pluses, that's pretty good. And then we also have Austin Watson, one of our players. He's a fourth line center as well, but he'll probably be playing a wing on that side. He's got good decent offensive awareness, decent discipline, not great. It'll get better. And then his offensive stats are getting up there. They'll get up there a little bit further. And he's one of the players that we traded for to look to play next to Jordan Stahl. But I believe we've kind of got somebody in the ranks. We also have Boyd Gordon in the system. He's a minor grinder. We're not going to be using Boyd Gordon. So we've got no third liners really at center. That's fine. We'll need to get a third line center then. All right. I would like to pick up Jared Stahl if we have the cap space. Jeff Skinner and Gabriel Landeskog. So there's our first line and second line. Chris Terry. He's the one that wants all that moolah. And he's a second line player. We could actually trade Chris Terry because of the contract dispute we're having with him. and play and get somebody a little bit more value. Here's Tommy Jokinen, though. He's our 4th line grinder we picked up too. Defensive awareness is 92. Discipline is 76. We don't have to play him, but we can. And that's pretty much it for forwards. Oh, yes, right wing. Sorry, Yakupov. That's pretty much it. We already talked about him. So we are looking probably for a 3rd line winger, right? We don't have many of them. Let me see. Do we have any 3rd line players on here? We'll pick some up, I think. McClement. Yeah, we don't have many 3rd line players right now. It doesn't look like. No. We have any? No. We don't have any 3rd line players right now. So we'll have to pick up some 3rd line players. We could sign one. And if we really wanted to, we could play a player up on the 3rd line. I don't want to, if I can avoid it. But let's take a look at first. Let's try moving Hansel. Oops, not contracts again. Let's look at moving Hansel. Let's throw him on here and see who wants him first. Because it's easier to trade somebody if they want him. This is okay. He's going to be way down there. I should have sorted it the right way. There he is. Martin Hansel. So they do want Hansel in Anaheim. We have a neutral relationship with them. So let's see what we can get back from them in terms of, I don't know. Let's see what they have for 3rd line players with a little bit of potential. Raquel. No, he's a 2-star player, so he's not there yet. Let's sort by overalls. Okay, so we'd be looking for like on an Andrew Cogliano. Yeah, there you go. There's an Andrew Cogliano. And what is he? What's his? He's 2.190. So we'd be saving $1 million on Andrew Cogliano, which isn't too bad at all. He's got great speed. Somebody suggested Andrew Cogliano at some point. We'll keep him in mind because he is decent, but he's not the best. He's not the best. He's also really small too. That's a big thing. McMillan. There you go. You got a 3rd line scoring forward in this one. Look at his shot. It's already pretty decent, and he's getting better. Brandon McMillan. Great discipline. Good defensive awareness. He'd make a decent 3rd line scorer. His value is a little bit higher than Andrew Cogliano, though. Let's see. Winnick. Daniel Winnick. They got him as a 4th line forward. Okay. Bonino. Nick Bonino. They got him as a depth forward, even though he's 3.5 stars. Who else was there? Palmieri. We know Palmieri is good, but he's got too much value. Okay, so I think out of the two, Andrew Cogliano, what was the discipline? 90? Yeah. I think Andrew Cogliano is a viable option. He's a good option on that line, too, as well, if we need a centerman. Because his face-offs aren't bad. His face-offs aren't bad. But they don't want to get rid of him. That's a big thing. They don't want to get rid of him. So let's take a look at another team that might want Hansel. Okay, Boston. No, they got poor relationship. They would take him in Buffalo. But we'd have to we'd have to get a player that's $1.5 million. At least $1.5 million, which isn't bad. That's a half cut. So let's go look at, oh wait, where's overall? Is that over more? I can never remember what anything is here. Okay, overall. Look at, they got a lot of good players here. Okay, so you're looking at like Steve Ott, 79 checking, 80 face-offs. He could play the center position, the same like Hansel. What's his contract? 2.100. Not bad. It's $1 million savings. It's not what I like. I'd be looking more around the 1.5. Villolano, he's a 4.5. I guess Steve Ott or Drew Stafford would be a potential player. Drew Stafford, third line scorer. He's pretty good, but again, we need to find a center that can win faceoffs. And what's his contract? $4 million. So Drew Stafford's out of the picture. So I think maybe Steve Ott would be an option for us. This trade would go through. We would save basically $1.1 million on this. And we get a player that's more suited to play the third line. Another grinder that I really like to play. And he's got some offensive abilities. Like, he's not bad. His passing's 80. His shot's okay. But his body checking and aggressiveness are high. His face-offs are really good. Defensive awareness is good. But his discipline's low. So that's the only thing about Steve Ott. So I think out of the two, I think Andrew Cogliano is definitely my choice. Calgary would take Hansel, and we'd only need to get a cheap player back. We could get somebody with some potential. Let's go down to the 3.5-star players. Patterson. Who's Patterson? No. He's not ready. Blake Como. They got him as a fourth line two-way forward. No, we need... how about Kyle Brodziak? Kyle Brodziak has pretty good faceoffs. Yeah, 80. 79 overall grinder. Good discipline. Good defensive awareness. Better passing. Kyle Brodziak's a good option too. And his speed and stuff is not too bad either. I like Kyle Brodziak, and he's a big guy. I like Kyle Brodziak, and he can play the center, which is nice. So maybe Kyle Brodziak. They're not willing to trade him. So Kyle Brodziak and Andrew Cogliano, I think, are our front runners. Oh wait, what was Brodziak? What was Brodziak's contract? I didn't even see. Let's sort by here. Where are you, Brodziak? 2.835. Yeah, too much. I mean, that's not even a million. That's only $500,000 savings. That's really not an improvement. Let's see what Chicago wants. Everybody wants the services of Hansel, so that really makes it good for us. No, overall. Let's see here. What's a 4-star player look like in Frolik? They got him as a third-line player, 80 overall as well. 3.5 stars, a sniper. Good discipline. Good defensive awareness for a sniper. Michael Frolik, but what does that give him for... it's still, that's the thing. Like, you don't get the, like... Yeah, it's their value's so low. Or so high. Who's this guy here? He's a minor checking forward. I don't want that. Peary. Yeah, these guys are all minors. So I think Andrew Cogliano so far is the best bet. Nobody really here in Chicago. Poor rep with Colorado. Do they want him? Yeah. So let's take a look at Columbus. Let's see here. Okay, so Ryan Johansson. He's a 3.5-star depth forward. Nope. Good value. Travis Moen. I know Travis Moen's pretty good, but he's a fourth-line grinder now. He used to be third-line, I think. Travis Moen, Bull. Cal O'Reilly. This is Ryan O'Reilly's brother, isn't it? Yeah, minor checking forward. Kubalik. Third wing. But he's got... Oh, look at his wrist shot power at 89. That's a good shot for a sniper. Discipline's pretty good. Defensive awareness is pretty good. So is his stick checking for a four. Like, he's going to be playing the third line, so it's not bad. He will get some offensive opportunities with that wrist shot. Wow, that's wicked. But, yeah, we don't really need a huge checking forward. We really need a... He's pretty good. Thomas Kubalik. He's not a bad move either. I just don't think the value is equal. Yeah, we need to give up a pick for Kubalik, but he's saving a lot. How much is left on his contract? 1 year. I think Kubalik's a good option, too. We'll look at Thomas Kubalik as well. Dallas is a good one to deal with. You don't need to worry about salary with them. Where is... There we go. Overall. Chason? They got him as a right-wing power forward. No, yeah, his defensive awareness and everything is really low. Fraser. Who's Fraser? Matt Fraser, power forward. Another power forward. No. Scott, is it Scott Glennie? It's Scott Glennie, yeah. Minor checking forward. I think what we'll do here, I'm going to get out of this wing here, and let's go to Detroit. And what we'll do is we'll sort by their role. So first, second, third. Yeah, here you go. So like Darren Helm, 79 overall. Great discipline. Great speed. He's like an Andrew Cogliano type player, Darren Helm. His offensive categories are very, like, their numbers are very similar, Darren Helm and Andrew Cogliano. So we could look at Darren Helm as a possibility. What's this here? Joakim Anderson. He's getting better. He's only a 3-star, but he's got good body checking. All right, discipline. Better wrist shot. Not as quick. I think I'd rather have a good, quick player. Let's take a look at Darren Helm again. What's his face-offs? 80. So he's like very similar to Andrew Cogliano, like almost identical. Andrew Cogliano, or I think Darren Helm could be a good move for us too. No. Okay, let's go to Edmonton. Let's see here. Where's Roll? There we go. Roll. I'm all over the place here. They got a lot of third-line players. Ooh, Magnus PRV. 79 overall, 4-star player. Look at his numbers already. Look at his discipline, 95. Holy. A third-line player in Magnus PRV could be a huge play for us. What's his contract? It's probably still on his rookie contract, 1.5. Holy. And Hartikainen. He's a third-line grinder, right? Yes, he is. We wouldn't need to sign anybody. 76 discipline, 90 body checking. Believe me, he gets good, guys. He gets good. Like 99 body checking. Who's Bowman? 3.5-star sniper. Look at that wrist shot power at 95. These Drayson Bowman? Who is this guy? Holy. Yeah, Drayson Bowman could be good. His discipline's not bad at 82. Defensive awareness is 85. Drayson Bowman. The Oilers, no wonder they're so good. Look at their value of everybody here. Horkoff. They want to get rid of Horkoff. Faceoffs are 85. He's an 80 overall. We could do a 1-player and pick up 3, and we've got a full third line all completed. Make a trade for Sean Horkoff, send some prospects their way that we're not going to use. Yeah, we could make this happen, guys. Discipline is 83. The only problem is contracts. That's what we got to look at, right? Okay, so Horkoff is out. Look at his $5.5 million he wants. Magnus PRV, though, could be in. Drayson Bowman at 2.3 is a little high. So I think this is the place to make the trade. I think this is the place to make the trade to make this work. So let's try... Actually, let's try PRV and Hartikainen. Because we can make this all go in one, kind of. Let me think here for a second. Okay. Alright. Yeah, I think he could be worth it. He's got... As long as we get somebody else with some good defensive awareness in that third line, we can make it work. So let's put PRV on there. And let's put... where's Hartikainen? Hartikainen. Let's put Hartikainen on there, okay? So the value is, like, way off, right? Like, Hansel doesn't even reach PRV, let alone Hartikainen as well. But in terms of salary, we're still at 3.7. So really, it's only costing us a little bit more. Or nothing. It's not costing us any more. It's saving us a little bit, right? I think we're at 2.9, so it's saving us like 800,000. So let's tack on. Who else do we have on here that's high salary? Okay, that we're not using. Oliver, no. We want to keep him. Who's Eklund? This is one of the guys we signed. No. Oh, no. He's playing on our team this year. That's right. We need him. Gergensons, Murphy, Watson, Jokinen, Rask. No. So we are looking at prospects to tack on here. So let's tack on some prospects with a little bit of value. Okay, so they do want some prospects here, like Dvorak. They would take Dvorak, a 3.5-star defenseman. Okay, I'll trade you Dvorak. Dvorak's value is pretty... Dvorak and Hansel probably equate PRV. Yeah, I would say so. I'd say that Hansel and Dvorak equal PRV. So now to get Hartikainen, we're going to have to tack on a little bit of extra value. Maybe Geertsen would be a good fit in there. Okay, so Geertsen. We'll throw Geertsen in. Okay, so for PRV and Hartikainen. Okay, I like that. I really like that a lot, guys. Now, does Geertsen equal Hartikainen? Not quite. What I'm going to do is I'm going to throw in a couple picks here. So from, not this year because we don't have our first, I'm going to throw in a 5th and a 4th. And I think that might go through. So here's the trade I'm going to offer them to start. If we need to, we'll adjust the picks accordingly. I think the players are pretty much bang on. Let me just see the pick value. Yeah, that should be good, I think. So Martin Hansel, Dominic Dvorak, Mason Geertsen, a 5th and a 4th for Magnus PRV, and Teemu Hartikainen. 2 players that can definitely stick with this team for the future and basically round out our top 9. I know Hartikainen gets up to 99 body checking, which is really good. He probably won't ever play the 4th line, but for now, he's really good, and he's only got... They both only have a year left, I believe, right? Yeah, they both only have a year left. So really, if their contracts become too heavy, we can get rid of them. And we're shedding this massive contract that is Martin Hansel. We're getting extra $800,000, and we could sign that centerman in Jared Stoll. So let's see if we can make this go through. Will they take it? And they do. There's not much to deliberate about not much to deliberate on this deal. I think the Edmonton fans think we came out ahead here. That scares me a little bit, but you know what? I got back a couple players that I'm actually going to be able to use this year. They're maybe not as, you know what, combined, they're probably way better than Hansel. We don't have to worry about, we can get rid of Terry now if we really wanted to because we can sign another player. I think that we're sitting pretty comfy at this point in time, guys. I'd say that's 2 really successful trades that addressed 2 big areas on our roster that needed to be filled. And we've got $5.1 million in cap now because of that trade. So I'm really happy about that. Alright guys, that's it for this one. Stay tuned for more Be a GM Carolina Hurricanes, and don't forget to vote. I've put the link down in the description. You also see it across the bottom of the screen right there. Go there, fill it out. Tell me who you'd like to see from each division that you'd like to play as. Obviously, I forgot to mention before, I removed Edmonton, Anaheim, and as well as Carolina from the vote because we already used them. No sense keeping them in there. Alright guys, that's it for this one. I'm Target Audience. You guys have a good one.